Hello, everyone. And from that clickety clack sound, it's time for TV Oblivion, the podcast. I'm your host, Pete Costanis. This is episode 36, season 2. Today's date is April 2nd, 2023, and welcome to the show. So here's today's lineup. From the 1950s, I will talk about the TV Western Annie Oakley. From the 1960s, the television sitcom The Baileys of Balboa. From the 1970s, the TV anime series Devlin. From the 1980s, the TV drama Call to Glory. From the 1990s, the TV sitcom The Boys Are Back. And from the 2000s, the DEA, that's a legal drama. And from the 2010s, the television sitcom A to Z. All right. So that sounds very, very, very interesting. Before we get started, the program will go into a commercial break. And this program is brought to you by Proof Spray Starch. I know, I never heard of this either. Maybe I had an inkling of it. Never mind. So here's a commercial from the late 1960s. So sit back and enjoy, and I'll be right back with the program. Thank you, everyone.
Boy, I'd had it with my spray starch. Then Proof came along. No clogging, no sticking. I'm dreaming, I said. No gumming up my iron. Proof, where have you been? And it's got soil repellent to help get my wash cleaner. Stains can't set in like they used to. The proof is in the trying.
Try new Proof Spray Starch. You'll see the difference.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial for Proof. It's spelled with a U, not double O. Like I said before, I barely remember this product, but the other one, spray starch, which comes to mind is Niagara. I think it's still around. I believe that. I remember when I was little, my mom used this product because she did a lot of ironing for my dad's shirts, because he worked at the hotel where he worked, and I used to remember seeing that green and white can. Not so much anymore. A lot of people don't really iron as much. Some like it because it makes the clothes smooth and nice, and wrinkle free. As for Proof, didn't last very long, maybe about a few years, and then it went poof. Maybe PUF, not POOF. Okay. At the beginning of the program, I said the lineup for today's program, so let's get started. The first show I will talk about is the television western Annie Oakley. This was very well loved and remembered in the 50s. And let's see what else. So it aired in syndication. First aired January 9th, 1954, ended February 24th, 1957, and starred actress Gail Davis as the title role of Annie Oakley. The program doesn't really touch on her historical life. Not really. It's just every episode she just dealt with bad guys or dire situations from other people, and she tries to solve them, and everything was okay because it's a children's program. The kids loved it. They ate it up, and it's a family show. A lot of shooting, of course. So she was a sharpshooter at the time. And it was a total of 81 episodes, black and white, running a half an hour. Once the show went off the air, it reran on ABC from Saturdays and Sundays for 1 year, and then again in the early 60s. And it probably was syndication elsewhere in other stations. So So the other people in the cast was Brad Johnson. He played Deputy Sheriff Lofty Craig, and also Jimmy Hawkins as Annie's little brother, Tag Oakley. You may know him as um Tommy Bailey from It's a Wonderful Life. Donna Reed and Jimmy Stewart's son. On It's a Wonderful Life, which we watch every year at Christmas time. It's a wonderful film. I love the film. It's not one of my favorite Christmas movies. I love the movie. My favorite is Christmas in Connecticut, but this one's, I look forward to watching it every year. I really do. It's great. And let's see. But in the pilot episode, he did not star in it. It was Billy Gray, best known as Bud Anderson on Father Knows Best. So I think I know what happened. When Father Knows Best premiered in the same year, probably in September or October, they cast him. And then, so they had to find another actor, and they cast Jimmy Hawkins, and then Billy Gray went to Father Knows Best. And here it is. It's Father Knows Best premiered in October, so that's good. Okay, and in the show, Annie Oakley rides a horse. His name is Target, and Tag's horse is Pixie, and the Lofty, the sheriff. Sheriff Craig was Forrest. And they lived in a fictional town called Diablo, Arizona. And they lived with their uncle, Sheriff Luke McTavish. Okay, and let's see, I don't know who started in that, so that's okay. So like I said, the plots were mostly to rescue people from bad guys. There wasn't much fighting, maybe a little bit. Like I'm sure there was, like that. But Annie Oakley was she wore these outfits. She had her hair in pigtails, and the show was produced by Gene Autry. Remember him from the Gene Autry Show. And they started in 1950, and they had a lot of guest stars, and they really did. And some people played the same people, they cast the same people, but in different roles, and like that. And so that was a standard. And like for example, Alan Hale Jr., who played the skipper in Gilligan's Island, he played in 2 roles in 1954. Which is nice. Let's see what else. Fess Parker played. He played in 2 roles in that, and Slim Pickens, he played in three roles. Denver Pyle played in 2 roles, and Lyle Talbert, an oldie and goodie actor, played in 2 roles indeed, and Lee Van Cleef. He played in 2 roles as well. So they had a lot of, they had an abundance of people, but they played multiple roles. And so I guess, I don't know why the show went off the air. Maybe because of ratings, or who knows. Maybe the Gail Davis didn't want to, perform anymore. But she was typecast in this role. Oh yeah, she couldn't. She got a few roles after that, and after the series ended. But then she just stayed out of the limelight and stopped acting, like that. Okay, right now I'm going to play the theme song for Annie Oakley. When I come back, I'll talk a little bit more about Gail Davis. Excuse me, not Dale. If I said Gail Evans, it's not Gail Evans. It's Gail Davis. That's her name, Gail Davis. Okay, so sit back and enjoy and listen to the theme song of Annie Oakley. Thank you, everyone.
week with her hard riding. Straight shooting. And suspense.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for Annie Oakley. Oh, I loved it. I watched one episode. No, not one, two. I'm sorry. I watched two over the weekend, and I enjoyed it. I really did. I liked it. I never saw it when I was a kid. I don't recall. And as for Gail Davis, I got her name. I apologize. I think I said Gail Evans. It's not her name. She was born Betty Jean Grayson on October 5th, 1925, in Little Rock, Arkansas. And then and her husband moved to Hollywood, so she could pursue a film career. And she appeared in a few movies, mostly Westerns. Yeah, mostly Westerns indeed. And some were with Gene Autry, and also television. She starred in The Cisco Kid, The Lone Ranger. There was a series called The Range Rider. It was only in one season. The Adventures of Kit Carson, also Death Valley Days, and also appeared on Gene Autry's show during that time. And she was also, she learned how to ride a horse. So I think some of it was used as a stunt double, but she really rode a horse. She knew how, so that was great. Like that, and she toured around the United States in a rodeo, courtesy of Gene Autry, of course. They also had an affair. That's what according to sources. And she made one guest appearance on the Andy Griffith Show, and she played Thelma Lou's cousin. I remember that. So that was so. Other than that, she didn't really appear in other roles. I don't think so. So just mostly movies and that. And then she passed away on March 15th, 1997, at the age of 71. Yeah, she's a very pretty lady, very talented. So, but Gail Davis is best known as Annie Oakley. So that's great. And by the way, the series is on DVD, excuse me, the entire series. I haven't bought it yet. Maybe I will someday. I would like to own that. That'd be kind of cool. Okay. Next up from the 1960s, I will talk about the Baileys of Balboa. When I posted a photo of the show this morning. I got a couple of comments from people that go, "This is like Gilligan's Island." I go, "You're right. It's similar like this." I'll get to that in a moment and explain. So here we go. So this premiered on September 24th, 1964, ended April 1st, 1965, aired on CBS. Just one season, 26 episodes, half an hour show. And let's see, so, and this was, I don't know, this is kind of bizarre because the president at the time was James T. Aubrey. And When Gilligan's Island premiered in the same year, he didn't like the show at all. Like, he detested it. So he had a friend. He was a producer or actor. His name was Keith Brassell. He's kind of controversial. So he produced his own version of the show. And then, all right, they did that. And then, so it aired anyway. But I don't know if people got confused with the Baileys of Balboa with Gilligan's Island. Maybe not. I don't know. It didn't do well with the ratings at all. That's why it was canceled, and other reasons. So the plot of the show was it was the Bailey family. They lived on a beach resort, and Sam Bailey operated a charter boat on the local marina. Well, the difference is nobody sailed off, and later on they were marooned on a desert island. They just stayed where they were. So the actors who played was Sam Bailey. That was actor Paul Ford. You remember him from Sergeant Bilko, and he as Colonel John T. Hall, which he was hilarious. It was so funny. Also in the cast was Sterling Holloway, famous character actor. He's famous for his voice of Winnie the Pooh. Also John Denner. He was Commodore Cecil Winton. Wonderful actor. You best know him as on the Doris Day Show later on. He was hilarious. He was funny. I liked them. Also in the cast was Judy Carn, the Sakatumi girl from Laugh-In. He played his daughter. Also in the cast was Les Brown Jr., Jim Bailey. That's his son, I believe. He just died not too long ago. No, not too long ago. Let's see. When did he pass away? That's his son. So no, that's his father. Excuse me. So he died in 2001. I think he died about a few months ago. Also in the cast were Clint Howard as Stanley. Ron Howard's brother. He did a lot of guest spots. He was in the Andy Griffith Show with his brother, of course. Also in the cast was Howard Freeman. He was an actor, in the movies and television. Also Dorothy Green. She starred in the show. And of course, John Banner, who's known as Sergeant Schultz on Hogan's Hero, appeared as Hans. I don't know what he did on the show exactly, but I would like to see John Banner because he makes me laugh on Hogan's Heroes. Like that. As I said, I watched one episode last night. It was pretty good. It was funny, but it's a nice nugget from the 60s. It's you enjoy that, a nice, comfortable feeling. It wasn't a bad show. It was it could have continued, but because of the ratings, so that was that. By the way, that was Judy Carn's second series, I believe. She started in the Fair Exchange a year prior, in 1963, and then I guess she was a busy actress in the 60s, of course. And then she went on to Love on the Rooftop. I'll talk about that show in a later podcast episode. And then she went into stardom in Roland Martin's Laugh-In as a Sakatumi girl. And so right now I'm going to play the theme song for the Baileys of Balboa. When I come back, I'll talk a little bit about Paul Ford. Yeah, because he had an interesting career. So sit back and enjoy, and I'll be right back. Thank you.
Sam Bailey, starring in The Baileys of Balboa. John Dana as Commodore Wintoon. Sterling Holloway as Buck. With Les Brown Jr. and Clint Howard
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for The Baileys of Balboa. I'll talk a little bit about actor Paul Ford. Uh, he was born Paul Ford Weaver on November 2nd, 1901, in Baltimore, Maryland. And then let's see. So he did a lot of Broadway and stage theater and all that. Uh, One of his earliest roles was it's a TV series I talked about in an early podcast episode called Norby. It starred David Wayne, and he played the bank president. So he played David Wayne's boss, of course. And then he went on to stardom as Colonel John T. Hall on the Phil Silver Show, known as Bilko or Sergeant Bilko. Oh, he was hilarious. He was hilarious. He would yell, Bilko! I love that show. It's hilarious. Also, on Broadway, he was best known as Mayor George Shinn in The Music Man. He was great in that. Also, he was in the screen version of The Matchmaker, on Hello Dolly, that starred Shirley Booth as Hazel. She was Hazel, but it was the 1958 version. I've seen that movie maybe once or twice back then, but because of Shirley Booth, I'm a huge fan of hers. And he was great in that. He really was. And before he started Vegas of Balboa, he started in a TV series. It's an anthology series on CBS called The Lloyd Bridges Show. And then he moved on to that. From what I heard from other people, that worked with him, he was a wonderful man. He was not mean. He just yelled, but he was just very kind. He really was. And he started in movies, of course. Of course, The Music Man, the movie version. He started in The Naked City. He played a lot of cops, judges, sheriffs, you name it. He starred in All the King's Men, The Tea House of the August Moon. I think that's with Marlon Brando. Let's see what else. Advice and Consent. He played a senator. Also, he was in It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. I remember those. Hilarious. Also, The Russians Are Coming. The Russians Are Coming. He starred in that. Also, and let's see, he starred as what's that? The Comedians. It was a movie. It was a political drama like that, and it starred with Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor, like that. And he passed away on April 12th, 1976. He was 74 years old in New York. So he was just one of those famous character actors. You would see his face, and most people don't know who he was. But if you're a TV fan like me, you definitely know who he was. You would recognize him. So what a wonderful man. Wonderful actor. Okay. All right. Next up, we have from the 1970s, the TV anime series Devlin. This one I remember very well. I watched this when I was a kid. Not every week, but I did watch it. So here we go. So this premiered on September 7th, 1974, ended December 21st, 1974, same year. Had 16 episodes, one season on ABC. And this cartoon was inspired by the popularity of the motorcycle daredevil Evel Knievel. We all know, we remember him with his motorcycle stunts, riding through lines of cars or barrels or fire or anything like that, because Evel Knievel was very famous. Very famous indeed. So the plot of the show was he just traveled around the world, performing his stunts with the motorcycle. And he brought his brother and sister, Todd and Sandy. And it wasn't a funny show. There was no slapstick or like that. It was very dramatic and, just like Johnny Quest, like that. Originally, it was going to be called Wild Wheels, and the title character was going to be called Daredevil. But they changed it. They changed it, so they changed it to Ernie. I don't know how they arrived at that. And most of it, so he was actually he was a stunt rider, Ernie Devlin, that is, and he was part of a traveling circus owned by Hank McSummers. Okay. And the voices of the characters, we have actor Michael Bell. He voiced Ernie Devlin. Mickey Dolenz did Todd Devlin. Michelle Robinson as Sandy Devlin. And also as Henry Hanks McSummers was Norman Alden. He was a character actor. He did voices, acted in a lot of TV shows. Like I say, he's one of those actors you know his face, but you don't know the name, but it was him. And I don't know if this show's on DVD. I don't think, I really don't. I'm not sure. Like that. So I like the show. It was great. But at that time, when there was Evel Knievel, when his stunts were shown on television and then they promoted it. And then they had like toys, merchandise, like from Ideal Toys. I remember the one with the Evel Knievel, there was one like you wind it up and then you go like that. So that's probably why. But I guess the novelty ended later on. So right now, I will play the theme song for Devlin. When I come back, I'll talk a little bit about actor Michael Bell. A lot of people. He's one of those actors, you see his face, but you don't know his name. So I'll deep into his career. Okay? So sit back and enjoy the opening theme song of Devlin. Thank you. Okay, everyone, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for Devlin. I'm going to talk a little bit about the actor Michael Bell, who voiced the character Ernie Devlin. And he was born July 30th, 1938 in Brooklyn, New York. He did a lot of acting, not just voice acting, but also regular acting in movies, like, for example, Thunder Alley. Let's see what else. Roller Coaster. Let's see. One of those two Chud movies. Remember that? Let's see. Let's see. Also, did a lot of episodes on Star Trek, The Next Generation, and also The Next Generation. He was in the pilot episode. But he did a few episodes of Star Trek. He also appeared in Dallas with Larry Hagman and during one season. Also in MASH, Three's Company. He also appeared in Charlie's Angels. He played Kate Jackson's ex-husband as Bill Duncan, Sabrina Duncan's ex-husband on that show. And also on her other show, Scarecrow and Mrs. King. And as for the voice acting, he did the Houndcats, Speed. He did. He was Mark on Speed Buggy. He was in the Scooby Doo movies. He was also the Riddler on Challenge of the Super Friends. He did a lot. So he was also in Jana of the Jungle, the Plastic Man comedy adventure show, and also in Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends as Dr. Octopus. So he did also commercials, for Parquet margarine, also Mug root beer. He did it all. He did that, and so also in the Smurfs, he did it. Also, he's still acting to this day. He really is. Oh, he's a wonderful man. He really is. He really is. Okay. So that's good. Okay. Next up, we got. Let's see who the next show I'm gonna talk about is from the 1980s, Call to Glory, and that's a drama that was set in the 60s. And I remember the show very well. It was heavily promoted during the 1984 Summer Olympics. And it starred Craig T. Nelson. So it was originally first aired August 13, 1984, ended June 30th, 1985. And it starred, of course, like I said, Craig T. Nelson as Colonel Rainer Sarnak. And the show focused, it was a pilot, and his family were living near Edwards Air Force Base, and that was stationed in the early 1960s. And that was during the first episode dealt with the Cuban Missile Crisis. So I guess it did well in the ratings at first, and then people lost interest. And so I watched a couple of episodes. It was good. It was very good. And Craig T. Nelson is a wonderful actor. This is a drama series. He's a serious actor. But later on, he went on to coach, and he was hilarious. But he's a funny man, but he also plays straight roles. So talented man, indeed. So the rest of the cast we had was David Lane Baker as Tom Bonelli, Cindy Pickett as Vanessa Sarnak, his wife, Elizabeth Shue as Jackie Sarnak. This is one of her earliest roles. Keenan Wynn as Carl Sarnak. He played Craig T. Nelson's father. Also, David Hollander. He played Wesley Sarnak. He's his son. Also, Gabriel Damon, he also played his son as well, Archie Sarnak, and Thomas O'Brien as Patrick Thomas. So, right, I don't know if the show's on DVD. I don't know, maybe, not sure. So right now I'm going to play the theme song for Call to Glory, and when I come back, I'll talk a little bit about Craig T. Nelson. So this will be very interesting. So sit back and enjoy, everyone. Thank you. Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for Call to Glory. About Craig T. Nelson, what can I say about him? He was a very versatile man. And he was born Craig Theodore Nelson on April 4th, 1944 in Spokane, Washington. He's famous for his roles. I remember I first saw him in a movie, not Poltergeist. That was one of his earliest movie roles. He was good in that, but also in Stir Crazy with G. Wilder and Richard Pryor. That movie was hilarious. But I remember him in a movie with Tom Cruise, in All the Right Moves. I saw this movie in the theater. Also, he starred in Turner & Hooch with Tom Hanks, of course. And let's see what else. He was a stand-up comedian at first. That's where he got his funny side, like that. Also, his earliest roles was in the 1979 movie And Justice for All with Al Pacino. Also in Silkwood and the Osterman Weekend. Oh, he was everywhere. And so a lot of other TV shows. Of course, he went on to play Coach, The District, My Name is Earl, and Parenthood. Also did the voice of Mr. Incredible in the superhero animated series The Incredibles. The movie world, that is. So that's great. And so let's see. So his first role was in the horror movie The Return of Count Yorga. Played a sergeant over there. I don't know if he got bitten. I forgot to watch this movie. So, and also Private Benjamin. Let's see. Also, the other Poltergeist, the sequel, Born on the 4th of July. Troop Beverly Hills. The Devil's Advocate, Wag the Dog. Oh boy, The Proposal. That starred. That was in 2009 with. That was with Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds. He was in that. One of his earliest TV roles was in the Mary Tyler Moore Show. He played a mechanic, and also in Charlie's Angels, Wonder Woman, The White Shadow, WKRP in Cincinnati. So he's a busy guy. He's still acting, as far as I know. So that's great. Okay. So God bless him. All right. So next up, we have a show from the 1990s. We have The Boys Are Back. And this is a sitcom. And it first aired on September 11th, 1994. Ended on CBS. Ended January 28th, 1995. Aired 18 episodes, 2 unaired. And this starred Hal Linden, best known as Barney Miller, also Suzanne Plachette. We all know her as Emily from The Bob Newhart Show. Emily Hartley. She makes me laugh. Still does. And they were. This was about a couple where their children returned home because of some circumstances. I think they lost their jobs, or they just didn't have enough money. That was the boomerang syndrome, like that. I think that's what it's called, where you lose your job and you return home to your parents. It was like that. I think it's still true to this day. It really is. Where would you go? You could. You have to find a job, of course, and then you're on your own when you're an adult. But one of their sons had children, with a wife and children there, so they just all shacked up together. So the cast consists of Hal Linden as Fred Hansen, Suzanne Plachette as Jackie Henson, George Newbern as Mike Hansen. You may know him as Julius Sugarbaker's son on Designing Women. Also, Bess Meyer as Judy Hansen, played one of the wives. Kevin Crowley as Rick Hansen, and the children were Justin Cooper as Nicky Hansen, Ryan O'Donoghue as Peter Hansen, and Kelsey Mulrooney as Sarah Hansen. You know, I just found out. I found out that Kelsey Mulrooney, that young lady, she passed away last year. No, in 2021. Oh, that's a shame. You know, such a young lady. Oh, that's terrible. And I've seen a couple episodes on YouTube, but also when it aired. And, you know, Hal Linden and Suzanne Pleshette, they really didn't have much chemistry, but they were funny. You know, they're wonderful actors. You know, I like them, but as a couple, no. Because every time I see Hal Linden, I think of Barney Miller, you know, with the rest of the guys. And then when I see Suzanne Pleshette, I think of Bob Newhart. It's like, I figure he's going to walk in the door and say something. That wasn't true. So it didn't do well in the ratings, and it was canceled. So that was that. Okay. So, right now I'm going to play the theme song for The Boys Are Back. And when I come back, I'll talk a little bit about actor George Newbern. So he has an interesting career. He really does. So, as in movies and television. So sit back and enjoy the theme song for The Boys Are Back. Thank you, everyone. Okay, everyone, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for The Boys Are Back. As for actor George Newbern, he's a very talented actor. He was born December 30th, 1964. He's best known as Brian McKenzie from the movie series Father of the Bride, based on the 1950 movie of the same name that starred Elizabeth Taylor, Joan Bennett, and Spencer Tracy. I've seen the first one. I've never seen the second or the third one. The first one I saw, he was good in that. I liked it. Of course, I mentioned before, he's best known as Julia's son, Payne, on Designing Women. Also, he had a recurring role in Friends. I think maybe not recurring, maybe once in a while. He did a lot of voices for. He was the voice of Superman for DC Comics, the cartoon series, like that. Let's see. So he's starring in a lot of TV shows like Providence, Chicago Hope, Bull, CSI, Ghost Whisperer, Touched by an Angel, Criminal Minds, Private Practice. Also, he had a recurring role in Scandal. He did that. And as for other movies, he starred in Adventures in Babysitting. Let's see, Doppelganger. Oh boy, a lot of them like that. And so that's great. He really is. Most of his voice work, he really did. As for television shows that I mentioned before, he also appeared in Family Ties, Working Girl. He was in that's another short-lived series, and that was with Sandra Bullock, I think. Was it Sandra Bullock? You know. Yeah, it was Sandra Bullock. Yeah, I talked about that show someday. Also, The Outer Limits, the other version, Chicago Hope. He did that. Boston Legal, Las Vegas, Cold Case, Grey's Anatomy, Castle, Nip and Tuck, The Mentalist, and on and on and on and on. So yeah, he's still working to this day. So he seems like a nice guy. He really does. Very nice guy. I worked with a lady at my job at American Express Travel, and she knew him. And I said, "Oh," because I recognized the name. She goes, "You mentioned the name." Yeah. And she goes, "Yeah, I knew," because he lived here for a while in Chicago. And I go, "Oh, I didn't know that." And I asked her, "Oh, how was he? How is he?" He goes, "Yeah, very nice actor and very nice man. Good family man." I said, "That's great. That's wonderful." Okay. Next up, we have from the 2000s, the legal drama, uh, The DA. And this was a TV show that starred Steven Weber again. He was everywhere. This premiered on March 19th, 2004, ended April 9th, 2004. 4 episodes on ABC, an hour-long show. I don't know what happened. I really don't. I saw 1 episode on YouTube. I did not catch it on TV. I didn't have a chance to. And it was pretty good. It was I liked it. I don't know what happened. It just, it's one of those things. People didn't watch it, or it was bad. I don't think it was bad. No. No. It was not. So, the premise of the show, Stephen Weber played District Attorney David Franks, and that was based in Los Angeles. Also in the cast was Bruno Campos as Mark Camacho, Michaelia Conlon as Jeanette McMahon, also Ron Clarkson as the other DA. Also, 2 famous actors were in the show. J.K. Simmons as Joe Carter. Oh, that guy makes me laugh. When he did J. Jonah Jameson in the Spider-Man movies. Also in the cast was Sarah Paulson as Lisa Patterson. Also Alan Engel as Bestie and Bobby Cook as ex-Bestie. I don't know what they were. So, like I said before, didn't do well in the ratings. So that's a shame. It really did. So it went to TV Oblivion. If you want to catch an episode, I think there might be more. No, I think just 1. Help yourself. It's on YouTube. It's there, and you look like a good quality drama. It really did. So I'm going to play the theme song for the DA. When I come back, I'm going to talk a little bit about actor Bruno Campos. He's an interesting actor. Okay, so sit back and enjoy, and I'll be right back. Thank you, everyone. Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for the DA. It's very short. I'll talk a little bit about Bruno Campos, excuse me, not Bruce. I apologize. So let's see. He was born December 3rd, 1973 in Rio de Janeiro. He's Brazilian. Let's see. So he's best known in his role as Diego on the NBC sitcom Jessie that starred Christine Applegate. And also he had a recurring guest role as a doctor in ER. And then he joined the cast as Quentin Costa in Nip and Tuck. And he starred in other shows as well. His most well-known film role was it was doing the voice of Prince Naveen as in the 2009 movie The Princess and the Frog that was produced by Walt Disney. And let's see, he starred in a lot of TV shows, like, for example, Suddenly Susan, Sybil, Resurrection Boulevard, Will and Grace, Boston Legal, Cold Case, CSI, Numbers, Royal Pains, The Ghost Whisperer, and Private Practice, I think I mentioned, and The Closure. So I don't know if he's still acting this day. And I haven't seen him lately. I guess he's fine. So that's good. That's good. I apologize for calling him Bruce. His name is Bruno. That's and then then he left acting, and he began. He enrolled in law school, and then he passed the bar, and now he is an associate with a law firm. Isn't that nice? In Michigan. That's great. He took a second career. So I don't think we'll see him anytime soon in the movies or TV. He's busy practicing law. So that's good for him. Okay. Now, for the last show we have from the 2010s is the sitcom A to Z. I barely remember this show, so here we go. This premiered October 2nd, 2014, and ended January 22nd, 2015 on NBC. Lasted only 13 episodes, but it was canceled by the 8th episode. Well, they did air all of them, so thank goodness for that. And it was a romantic comedy. It was created by a man named Ben Queen. And also there was executive producer. There were two of them. Rashida Jones, that's Quincy Jones' daughter. Also Peggy Lipton's. Also Will McCormick. He was an actor as well, and he was the executive producer. And the premise of the show was there was a guy. His name was Andrew Laughlin. He was an employee at the internet dating site, and he always dreamed to meet the girl of his dreams. That doesn't sound right. And he also had a girlfriend, not a girlfriend, maybe a girlfriend, Zelda. She was a no-nonsense lawyer raised by a hippie mother. And by accident, they met, and they fell for each other. So the series chronicles their relationship. It was like a timeline from A to Z. The narrator of the show was none other than actress Katie Sagal. You all know her as Peg Bundy. Can't say it. From Married with Children. And so she did that. Others in the cast we have is So in the beginning, Andrew Laughlin, that was played by Belle Feldman. Also, Zelda Vasco was Christine Milotti. Henry Zabrowski is Stu Bartokowski. He probably played his friend. Also, Lenora Krikla as Steffi Bennett. Christina Kirk as Big Bird Lydia. And Hong Chow as Laura, which she was a supporting actress nominee, for the film in 2022, The Whale. Yeah, that's interesting. Also, there was Parvish China as Dinesh, and of course, that was Katie Sagal as a narrator. Right now, I'm going to play the theme song. When I come back, I'll talk a little bit about the star of the show, Ben Feldman. Okay, so sit back and enjoy. And here is the theme song to A to Z. Thank you, everyone.
Andrew and Zelda will date for 8 months, 2 weeks, 6 days, and 1 hour. This television program is the comprehensive account of their relationship. From A to Z.
Okay, everyone, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song from about A to Z. Not from A to Z, very short. You can barely hear Kitty Seagal. That I apologize. As for Feldman, he was an actor and producer. He's done Broadway plays. He's done sitcoms. Let's see. He did a film role in 2005 called The Perfect Man that starred Hilary Duff and Heather Locklear. Also, he starred in others. He's best known for his lead role in the sitcom Superstar on NBC. Excuse me. He played Jonah Sims. So he was that was a funny show. I liked that. And let's see what else. He was in Mad Men. Let's see what else. Other movies he starred in: Cloverfield. Let's see what else. Friday the 13th, like the remake. Oh boy. I didn't do well. On television, his first TV appearance was in the sitcom Less Than Perfect. Also, he also starred in the sitcom Living with Fran that starred Fran Drescher that aired on the WB. That started in 2005, 2006 through that. And that ran for 2 years. Also Numbers, Las Vegas, Medium, CSI. He also starred in that series on Lifetime, Drop Dead Diva. Started in that as well. The Mindy Project. Silicon Valley that aired on HBO. And he's still acting to this day. So that's great. Superstar, I liked him. I liked him in that show. It's funny. It really was. Okay. So that's it for this program. Oh, I'm tired. So I'm going to do a recap of what I discussed today. All right, here we go. So from the 1950s, I talked about the TV Western Annie Oakley. From the 1960s, the television sitcom The Baileys of Balboa. From the 1970s, the animated series Devlin. From the 1980s, the TV drama Call to Glory. From the 1990s, the TV sitcom The Boys Are Back. From the 2000s, the legal drama DA. And the 2010s, A to Z. Oh, excuse me for a second. Get some water. Excuse me. Okay, so I had a fun show. It was a fun show, and I had a good time. And I will do another episode probably this coming weekend. And this program will be available where podcasts are available: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, also Amazon Music. Excuse me. Also be on my YouTube channel, TV Oblivion, the podcast. Also be shared on my social media accounts, Facebook and Twitter. So it'll be ready soon, and then you can listen as well. Excuse me. So this is Pete Costanis, your host of TV Oblivion, the podcast. Thank you for joining me. Everyone have a wonderful day. And right now, we're going to play the Pick and Pluck song to end the show. Everyone take care. Bye-bye.